When NVIDIA announced their new RTX 3000 series cards, like everyone, I was really amazed at the performance jump and the price drop, so I immediately decided this was the time I was waiting for to build my first deep learning PC. But the problem was the cards were extremely unavailable due to supply shortage. But luckily for me, I was able to put a pre-order on a reputed local shop, and after a few weeks of waiting, I got the card on my hand. And this is the card, MSI Geforce RTX 3080 Gaming X Trio. Why this is specific model? Because this was the only one available for pre-order, so I didn't have much choice. But this is one of the top end card from MSI, so I'm not unhappy. Inside the box, you first get an envelope, inside which you get some papers. Next, you get the card itself, and MSI also includes a GPU stand, which is nice because these cards are very heavy and I think all brands should include a GPU stand. The card itself is placed very tightly inside the box, so there is very little chance of it getting damaged during shipment. On hand, the card feels very solid and heavy, but what I don't like about the card is it takes 3 8-pin power connector instead of 2 like the other brands, and this side LED which doesn't look very nice because the lights aren't properly diffused. And for the output, it has one HDMI and 3 DisplayPort. I wanted my GPU to be as powerful as possible, so I spent more than half of my budget on the GPU. So for the rest of the build, I didn't have much left. The CPU I could afford is Ryzen 5 3600, which has 6 cores and 12 threads, and it also comes with the AMD Ryzen Stealth cooler. This is the bottom side of the CPU, and this is the top. And with the CPU, you also get a Ryzen sticker, which you can stick somewhere if you want. For my tight budget, I couldn't go for a third-party CPU cooler, so I'm going to use this stock cooler, and honestly it does a pretty good job on keeping the CPU cool. And inside the box you also get some papers. For the motherboard, I got the MSI B450M Mortar Max. This motherboard has all the ports and features I need within my budget, so I went for it. Inside the box, the board is wrapped on an anti-static poly bag. On the I/O panel, it has total 8 USB ports, including one USB 3.2 Type A and one Type C port. It has 4 DDR4 RAM slots, 2 PCIe slots, 2 M.2 slots, and 4 SATA ports. That's more than I need. For SSD, I chose Samsung 970 EVO Plus NVMe M.2. This SSD is insanely fast. I went for 250GB because 120GB is too small and anything larger than 250GB was crossing my budget. But I have 2 M.2 slots, so maybe in the future I will add a larger NVMe SSD on the second slot. For large storage, I bought the Western Digital 1TB blue hard disk. 1TB is not actually big enough storage nowadays, but I will have to upgrade the storage later. For RAM, I bought 2 sticks of Corsair Vengeance LPX 8GB of 3200 MHz, so total 16GB of RAM. For now, that's enough RAM for me. There is 2 more slots on my motherboard which I am leaving empty for future upgrade. For the power supply, I chose Thermaltake Smart BM2 750W PSU. It's 80+ bronze certified and semi-modular. Inside the box you get papers and all your modular cables are inside this bag, which is nice because you can use this bag to store your unused cables. On the side chamber you get the main power input cable, and in the middle the PSU itself. The 24-pin power cables and 8-pin power cables is permanently attached to the PSU. You can plug in the cables that you need on the back of the PSU on these ports. On the front, it has a power switch and the power socket for the main power input, and on the bottom it has the ventilation for the cooling fan. I chose the Coolermaster Masterbox MB511 as my case, which comes with 3 ARGB fans. Reason for choosing this case is it has great ventilation and large space. You can attach up to 7 cooling fans in this case, and it has a nice tempered glass side panel. The glass panel is attached to the case with 2 screws. When you open the screws, they remain attached to the glass panel, so there is no chance of losing them. The back panel is also locked with 2 screws, which also remains attached to the panel when you remove it, so no chance of losing them either. The whole front side is fully meshed, so it allows good airflow and works as a dust filter. For the bottom ventilation, you have a removable dust filter. I forgot to show you the top side, which is also fully meshed and has magnetically attached removable dust filter. And this bag contains all the necessary screws, zip ties for cable management, and the RGB controller for the fans. It has 2 hard disk trays on the bottom behind these cables. They can hold both 3.5-inch drive on the top side and 2.5-inch drives on the bottom side. So if you combine 3.5 and 2.5-inch drives, these 2 trays can hold total 4 drives. You also have the option to hang 2 2.5-inch drives on the back of the case and 1 2.5-inch drive on the front side here. And now the fun part, the assembly process.